Now, the One Nation Senator, Rod Culleton, has quit the party.
Thank you very much for coming today.
We'll have a listen
to
Pauline Hanson
I'm sure you have the questions to ask. So anyway, I'll let whoever wants to lead it.
Senator Hanson, how did Senator Culleton get pre-selected in the first place for One Nation?
What happened was that I went to the Senate inquiry into the banking sector in February of this year in Sydney. I was quite impressed with his attendance at the Senate inquiry and answering questions. I had a meeting with him afterwards. I actually spoke to him and asked him if he'd be interested in standing, because I said I really would like someone to stand up, fight for people on these issues, as he said he was doing for the farming sector. I was very interested in the banking, or holding an inquiry into the banking sector. That's hence why I was at that Senate inquiry.
Do you concede now that your vetting process wasn't good enough?
Well, it's a shame it's turned out the way it has, and I'm sure many other leaders in this nation feel the same way with their former members of Parliament and what's actually happened, especially in New South Wales with Eddie Ovid, who's got a 3-year jail term. So everyone has gone through this.
What were the vetting processes that the party went through, or was it as simple as Senator Culleton saying yes when you asked him was he interested in running?
No, it's not. We do have documentation that is filled out. They actually have to, and he actually ticked off that he complied with Section 44 of the Australian Constitution. I actually presented those documents and did table them on the floor of Parliament as proof of what I'm saying. There is other requirements that they need to, and also he called into the head office and had a meeting with the other executive members there as well. So, there's only sort of so much that everyone can do. Like I said, all political parties have these problems, these issues, and I'm sorry it has come to this. And it's been a lot of pressure on myself, not only myself, but other team members as well, Senator Burston and Senator Roberts, that we've given of our time trying to, talk to Rod to console him, because when it was brought to my attention about these court cases that he had, and I was aware of the court cases and what he was going through, because he did tell me about that, but I was not aware that he had a conviction recorded against him last March.
So he didn't have to provide a police background check or anything?
Yes, it is, and if you look at the form, it was actually ticked. So I was of the belief that he complied with it when he ticked Section 44 of the Australian Constitution. Now, he always said, there's nothing in this, it's only a $7.50 key. So anyway, a key's worth more than that. And of course, it carried with it a larceny charge of it, of up to 5 years, which I was not aware of. So when he told me it was actually just a key that was stolen, you don't think of this in your own mind, because I'm no lawyer, that it carries with it a charge of larceny.
So at what point did you ask him to resign?
Well, actually, I haven't asked him to resign. Never have. When he was going through all these legal battles, he said to me, "Do you want me to resign?" I said, "No." I said, "We will see this through and I'll stand by you and, get you over these hurdles." What happened was, when it was actually then under the Section 44 of the Australian Constitution and the charges were brought against his eligibility of actually standing for the Senate, I had a discussion with him. Now, I spoke to him on the phone. I was at Charleville at the time. And he was asking for financial support. I said, "Rod, this is going to cost up to $1 million. And I said, "I cannot support you and I will not financially back you." He said, "So I won't get your financial backing?" I said, "No." I said, "I cannot." And then he said, "Do you want me to resign?" And I said, "Yes. Yes."
Senator Culleton has now denied these claims that he asked you for money or the party to pay his legal fees. What have you got to say about that?
There is Senator Brian Burston has had these conversations with him and will back up with what I'm saying. He has, as of yesterday, sent me a text from Rod saying that he gave Greg Smith, who runs the office in Queensland, or is the national office, and also that he is on the executive to ring Greg with regards to the finances of it, because it's just not down to me, it's one person. Yes, I am the leader of this party. I've made my position quite clear, but he wanted to approach others on the executive for a loan. So he has spoken to Brian Burston about this, and I have a text on my phone which states that as of yesterday, he said, I was expecting a phone call back by Friday. I haven't heard anything. And the text said, and Brian told him, said, well, ring Pauline. He said, I wasn't aware of that I was supposed to ring Pauline, but he knew of that yesterday and he still hasn't phoned me.
How do you explain then his denial today?
You'll have to ask him. Rod's never been upfront. He tends to put a spin on a story and he won't tell you the honest truth and come out. It's like that same day, and when he said, do you want me to resign? And I said, yes. And I said, Rod, keep out of the media. Do not talk to the media. What did he do that? That was the first time I was watching that show, and he said, I've never denied I took the key. My jaw just dropped. And I could not believe that he actually said that, because that's not what he told me. And then the same thing, Senator Roberts sent me a text message, and the message that he sent to Rod, he said, you lost me. He said, you've never admitted to me you took that key. He said, you've always said that you never took the key. And so Senator Roberts is one of the most honest, upfront people, and he was absolutely disappointed, very much so, in Rod Culleton.
Well, to what extent now does his resignation undermine One Nation's claim to be a stable political party?
We are very stable, and I will stand by that. I think I've proven that on the floor of Parliament with my other two senators that are there. I'm very sorry this has happened, and especially for the people of Western Australia who voted for One Nation. But the whole party does not come down to one person. It doesn't come down to just Pauline Hanson. It does not come down to Rod Culleton. This has been an experience for the party. We will get over it. And for the whole fact is that looking at it, and today he's before the courts for bankruptcy, the courts will determine his future. But I think it will be the determination of the High Court when they make their decision. He stands.
This is sort of history repeating. In 1998, One Nation in Queensland it won 11 seats, and then the party organisation sort of fractured.
Well, no,
the party being at risk of the same thing happening on the federal stage.
You were totally wrong. You see, what happened in 1998 was totally different, because we were a threat to the major political parties. Hence, that's why Tony Abbott started up the slush fund to actually drag us through the courts and the deregistration of the party. My imprisonment, which was overturned and quashed later. When the party was deregistered, Peter Beattie put pressure on the members of Parliament. You go out and register another political party ASAP. So that is something that they did. It wasn't a fracturing within. We got on extremely well with my members of Parliament, but the pressure put on them by the Premier of the state at that time, that's why they did it. I was not prepared to walk away from One Nation. I stuck with it.
And you're confident that neither of your other senators now will consider running as an independent? They're going to stay with the party?
Most definitely. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. I wish I'd brought my phone, because actually I would like, can one of my staff please go and get my phone? And something that was sent to me from Senator Roberts, and he wanted to read out to the media, and he's in America, and he's full support for me. So I've worked too hard and to get back here after everything that's been thrown at me by the political parties and everyone else to destroy me and what I stand for and my principles. and I have no intentions of folding up and going away. This means too much to me.
Senator, how do you see this changing the way the Senate works? You were quite a powerful bloc of 4 and now you're 3. Will that change the way things play out in the Senate?
Let's wait till the determination from the High Court. For the fact is that if the High Court rules that he is not eligible to stand, it will then go back to a recount, and they've already determined it will be a One Nation seat. So there's a lot to play out here. If it is a One Nation seat and goes back to recount, then it's second on the ticket, and I am aware that it's Rod Culleton's brother-in-law. But also I'm hearing rumours about the fact that Rod Culleton is now facing the courts today for bankruptcy. I'm also hearing that his brother may be a guarantor for him in that bankruptcy. So if that be the case, his brother-in-law may not be eligible to stand. So if that be the case, then the seat comes back to the party, so we can determine who goes into the seat. It is still a One Nation seat. Regardless of him walking away today to go as an independent, whoever, it's the determination of the time when he was elected to Parliament, and that was under One Nation. So it is a One Nation seat. So we need to see how it plays out and what's going to happen.
One Nation leader Pauline Hanson there live from Brisbane speaking about the resignation of Rod Culleton.